Hello viewers, today we are going to talk about something more different compared to what I always do videos on. So today we're going to talk about laptops and particularly Intel 11 Gen chips, which I found really interesting because they are all new compared to the older, 6 Gen, 7 Gen, 8 Gen, 9 Gen, 10 Gen. They are all the same, they are all based on the same architecture. The 11 Gen, the mobile chips, they are totally different. So they have an all-new architecture based on Intel 10nm process and way faster. Intel says they are 20% faster, and from what I use, they are. So I have this one, the Prestige 14 EVO, which Intel gives to every video to do performance testing, and they base all their testing on this, the 20% and so what. So I have this for a while, and the older one as my work laptop for a while to a few months, so I really can feel the difference between these two. So let's check it out, what's so fast about Intel's new chip. Before we get to the chip, let's talk about the laptop themselves. So the old one is the same with the new one as expected, other than the chip changes and some cosmetic change. So it's quite light, 1.3 kg, very easy to carry around, 14 inches, a Windows Hello here, fingerprint sensor, so it's really business type, and 2 Type-C ports, 2 USB 2 ports, and headphone jack, micro SD. So it's very lacking on ports like a MacBook. So if you work in a corporate, you have Thunderbolt dock, you have Type-C monitors, you're fine. If you're like the normal user, you need the HDMI to connect to your monitor and projector, to your TV, you need USB ports to transfer your data. You'll be screwed. You will go into dongle town, you will need a lot of this. You better have a few of this. And also, like, if you want to connect your camera, you would need like a card reader too, because micro SD here. So basically it's dongle town. So for normal users, it's pretty inflexible. And their lower variant, their modern 14 actually have a HDMI port, have USB 3 ports instead of USB 2 ports. So it's pretty good. This device is not made for typical users, it's more for business users. So the only good thing I think for normal users is like it has really good cooling, because it's made to handle 10 Gen 6-core Core i7 low power processor, and either the GTX 1650 Max-Q, or typically that comes with MX 250 like my device, or 350, 450. So the cooling is pretty decent here, to be honest, to handle the incoming 11 Gen chips, which can get pretty hot. So basically the newer one has better keyboard, in my opinion. They improved the keyboard by a bit in just a generation. Better trackpad. The older one is quite flabby, and a new logo, that's all. And with 11 Gen, which we'll start to talk about because that's really exciting compared to the more discrete upgrade. Alright, the Intel 11 Gen chips, that's makes this newer compared to that one, the older one. So this has the i7 1165G7 CPU SoC from Intel, which has the latest architecture and the Xe graphics, and the 4266 MHz RAM, which is the standard for all the EVO branded laptops, for all the Windows laptop. This is way faster than the older one. This one has the 10 Gen, 10, 7, 10U. Alright, their naming scheme's pretty bad. Alright, this has a 6-core processor, but this feels way faster on daily tasks like browsers, on Windows Office, on all the background app. You have 20 or 50 tabs in Chrome. This one loads way faster, and typically I daily drive both of this, and I can really feel the difference when you just use them side by side. you can feel that this looks way faster. This feels a bit slow after you have used this one. So it's pretty fast. Intel says it's 20% increase compared to last gen. I feel like it's way more. So on their PPT, they say this can go up to 4.7 gigahertz. Compared to the old one, it's like 4 gigahertz. And this is significantly faster per clock because it has the new process too. So just like the benchmark, it's really faster. And I like to use them normally on silent mode, which is really a blessing. If you use this all the time, you just make sure then they run on the lowest frequency, all right, possible. The fan just barely runs, and it's the best, for me, it's the best mode to use these things. So especially in Malaysia, it's quite hot. This thing just runs, the fan just ramps up. So having silent mode is really good. So on the older one, the fan just keeps running. Even though you put on silent mode, you just make sure it runs like a snow to maintain the speed and the temperature. On this one, however, the fan never runs if you turn on the silent mode. It ramps up a bit when I try to load a new video or I load a big file in Photoshop. Otherwise, it's pretty staggering. It's almost like its rival M1 Macbook, which can run fanlessly. It also has the latest Intel Xe graphics. When you use it with 4266 MHz RAM, it's really powerful. It's almost in NVIDIA MX graphics standard, so you can edit video effortlessly here. 1080p 60 is pretty easy. I did a few videos with this, it's alright. And gaming is pretty decent. You can run, League of Legends, Dota, CSGO, Genshin, 60 FPS on this thing easily, 1080p. So it's pretty great, but it has a huge price tag. This is about 1.2k USD or over 5,000 ringgit in Malaysia, which is really expensive compared to, equivalent MX 250, MX 350, MX 450 with the 11 Gen i5. You get best of both worlds because the NVIDIA MX graphics that do perform better than this gaming or rendering because they have NVIDIA drivers. They usually come out with the i5. They come out with a lower price tag than this, which is pretty good bargain, to be honest. So on the value side, the EVO branding is kind of hard to justify. Alright, to conclude this, I think it's actually pretty decent. It might have bad value, but you need to look at where are all these chips aiming towards. So on more business user, content creators, people are willing to pay 1k USD or more for their laptops. I think the EVO, the whole package, top i7, 1165 G7 processors, high-speed RAM, high-speed SSD, everything in the package. They are pretty worth it because by using just one chip to do all the stuff, you got to control the temperature, the heat. You got to have everything decently in a single package. So yeah, I think it's really exciting for laptops to have the EVO branding, the EVO products, the Intel 11 Gen chips. For value buyers, you can just get the lower end Intel chips and you still get decent, very staggering performance. Even compared to AMD on single core, it's still better on an i5. So it's pretty exciting. It really pushed the envelope forward, and that's very important because they will need to compare to the M1 Macbooks, which are really fast and really efficient. So yeah, good times. This laptop, however, it's really for specific users. So if you want something more MacBook-ish and run Windows, yeah, the Prestige 14 EVO is a pretty decent choice, and especially when it comes in very exciting colors like white or pink, which is my favorite color, to be honest. It's really striking. Alright, thank you for watching my first laptop review. I'll see you guys soon with more interesting gadgets.